Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Cancer July 2022 Illumination reading. This is I Am Illuminated Tarot, a place for you to better connect with and illuminate your own personal spiritual importance. And what does that mean? That means that today in this reading, we're going to be taking a look at a challenge that Spirit is asking you to face and overcome this month so that you can better engage with your unique spirit, your soul, that part of yourself that rises up and out when we are challenged. And this is all in an effort for you to better understand your own heroic capabilities, to better see your path, your purpose. And when I talk about spiritual importance, it's realizing where we fit in the greater collective experience. So welcome, everyone. I want to say a big thank you for all of my subscribers. I can't tell you again how much it means to me that you continue to support this channel. And a big happy birthday to all of my Cancers out there. I absolutely love your energy, Cancer. I am a Cancer rising myself, so I do work a lot with your energy. But I also have a lot of Cancer friends and family members in my life, and your energy is just so wonderful, loving, supportive, and really is meant to be so helpful to others by leading through example in how to work with your emotions and how powerful they can truly be. So Cancer, let's get right in here. And for all of you, just so that you're aware, I usually do an extended for each video, for each sign, each month. If you are interested, you can click on the Vimeo link at the end of this video to view. However, because it is your birthday month, Cancer, yours will be free, so you can continue just to watch after the initial reading, and then I will go into the extended where we'll pull additional clarifiers for the cards and get additional messages that come out. All right, so King of Pentacles right off the bat, Cancer. You are stepping up into your manifestation power. Very, very important and powerful. And it's a very earth-centered card. So it's a very physical, present, and grounding card, which is great. That's just showing the energy that you're stepping into yourself, which you're bringing to the month of July. Now we're going to see here what's going on around you in your environment. Let's see what Cancer is working with. There we go. Oh, and Queen of Wands. Wow, two very powerful energies. Okay. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Swords. Okay, so right off the bat here, Cancer, we're taking a look at a decision. So when we're thinking about what is the challenge that you're facing this month, it's really about getting out of that place of indecision in the mental space, which is what the Two of Swords reflects. And also this element of kind of almost not being able to clearly understand where your personal truth fits. And this is kind of being stuck in the mental space of that. And bringing that down into the physical and being able to say, I see my truth, I know my truth, no more of this waffling, no more of the indecision. I'm going to ground in practical earthbound measures how to take myself and bring it out into the world, the Queen of Wands. And I do feel, I can't quite remember now, but I do feel like you got this similar energy in last month's reading as well, as far as the Queen of Wands coming out and kind of being seen, being brought out there, the part of yourself I think that sometimes you might hide in that Cancer crab shell of yours. You're being told to step out into your magic. That is the Queen of Wands. She is someone who understands the power of manifestation through working with her passions and through taking action. That's actually what the sunflower represents here, that even though she is sitting in a desert, she can grow what she would like to grow, where she would like to grow it. Now, underneath the Two of Swords, which is what you're learning about, what you're going to be clarifying for yourself this month and meeting this challenge of really bringing yourself out into the world, is the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands. So 2 pages. This is beginner's mindset energy. It is also being the optimist optimistic, curious child to a certain extent with the different energies that they're working with. So the Page of Wands is going out there with a fresh perspective of kind of rediscovering your passions, rediscovering your own magic. If you notice, he looks like he's looking in awe at the staff that he's holding, the wand, and that is himself, his eternal flame, that beautiful gift that each one of us is given with our own unique spirit. And it's almost like this month you are realizing the uniqueness of this. And with the Page of Cups, this is really working with your emotions, but from a truly optimistic and open and very vulnerable way. This always reminds me of working with our inner child, where we kind of make that inner child vulnerable and open to others. We share what we love. We share what we need. We share openly what's in our cup, which what is in our cup is all of those things that emotionally fulfill us. It's the needs we need to have met. It's the dreams we need to follow. It's the emotions, the things that connect us on an emotional level to our experience. And you can see he's holding it up beautifully. And it's interesting with just seeing these two side by side. It looks almost like he's holding that up to the other version of himself, almost saying, here my inner child is greeting a reconnection to who I am. And with that, I think for some of you, with the Two of Swords then on top of that, that's almost like saying, well, I'm having this connection. There is this element of a beginner's mindset of getting back to the basics with myself, but I'm not quite sure where to share that or how to share that or where this belongs. And this month, if you are courageous enough, Cancer, to really step up into this energy of knowing what you can manifest, knowing what you're capable of yourself. So each one of us uniquely has our own ability to manifest in the physical, meaning some of us manifest through diligent hard work. We know that if we put the steps in place, you're a checklist type person. And if you have a checklist, you will attain that goal. There are some of us who manifest through taking risks. We love to find that next big leap, and we focus on the dream and we focus on the next leap. There are some of us who manifest through actually spiritual work, through maybe doing prayer and meditation and opening ourselves up to be receptive. Every one of us has a different way to manifest. And so there's something here with you this month, Cancer, of really understanding your own manifestation power, understanding the wand that lies within you, and bringing that out to be seen and to work your magic, but from a place of grounded practicality. All right, so now let's see kind of what are the blocks. What is the true challenge you're facing that you're really going to have to meet and overcome this month? Let's see, what does Cancer need to know about the blocks and challenges they're facing? I knew this was going to come out for you. Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands, this is the wand. This is the gift of your own eternal flame, your own uniqueness. It's also the gift of divine inspiration. Now, when it comes up, this is your main challenge point, your main block for the month. And I think what can happen here, let me get out these additional cards. What can happen is that we see that spark, we reconnect, and it's almost like that. It's almost like plugging back in to the universe where something feels right again. This can be where maybe you remember something about yourself that you had put aside to just take care of the day-to-day activities. You forgot that maybe you had a wild driving passion. Maybe you love cars and that was a big part of your growing up, and you work on cars on the side, and you used to go to meetup groups where everybody would go drive their car around, or maybe this is where you were writing and that was your passion and you were part of a writing group or something along those lines, or maybe in your day-to-day efforts, it kind of got put by the wayside, and this is where you reconnect with that strongly again. It's almost like that clarification of having a momentary pause and kind of sitting in the eye of the storm, and all of a sudden it's like you see yourself. You reconnect with that inner child part of yourself, and you're like, oh my gosh, When did I lose that about myself? When did I stop seeing that? And when we're faced with that, it can be really liberating. It can be really exciting, but it can also be at a certain point a challenge, because we might have to realize that something needs to change, or we have an inspiration. This can also be where we have this divine connection to ourselves, but also how to utilize ourselves. We're like, aha, that's what I need to do. That's what I want to share. Oh my gosh, I want to start that podcast. And I know that one of my main manifestation techniques is if I focus on networking with others, I really can make something grow. And maybe I can network with somebody to help me build this podcast and spread this message that I deeply want to share and connects to the core of who I am. But suddenly you realize, wait a second, if I need to make room for that, I have to walk away from something else. And that's what the Eight of Cups signifies here. And that can be difficult. That can be where we are either A, realizing that in reconnecting with ourselves, that core version of ourselves, and we're understanding our own power of manifestation at the same time, or realizing that something no longer fits, that the kind of mask we put on to, or maybe even the crab shell that we hid behind that helped us feel safe and maybe heal from something or get to a certain point of safety and security in our life, suddenly is hiding. If you think about, kind of hiding behind a shell or hiding behind a mask, if all of a sudden you have this beautiful light, this flame that you want to bring out into the world and start to set things aflame, so to speak, on a spiritual level, it's going to be very hard when it's being shielded by something in front of it. And so it's almost like you're not allowing that part of yourself to be seen. And that's going to start to really show that the areas of your life that are part of that shell, that are part of that mask. This could be a job you've held for 20 years that no longer suits who you are. Maybe it got you to a certain level of safety and security, or got you your family through, the time when your children needed that support. But now it's time to walk away. You realize your true inspiration. Or this can be where you realize all of a sudden the lifestyle you're living is, maybe you put a lot of time and support and emotional attention into something, and you're realizing, gosh, this house, I loved it when I first moved in. It was wonderful, but it's just not who I am anymore. If I have this passion now to connect to the adventurous spirit who wants to travel the world, do I really want to maintain the mortgage that I have? And it can be difficult, because it also means at a certain point we have to kind of mourn the loss of who we kind of created as a mirror to the world. We have to kind of look back and mourn the loss of a certain part of ourself, that maybe at one point you really did identify with that job that you had for 20 years, and you were proud of what you did, and you were proud of being able to be the person who supported your family. But now your soul is calling you to a creative project, or to follow something you've always wanted to follow, or get back into something that you've always wanted to do. And suddenly you think back to that first day that you got promoted, and to all the people that you met and the close relationships you have, and the excitement that your significant other had when maybe you did get a promotion and you could share in that. But now you're turning into a new person. You're reconnecting with truly who you are at your core. And that realization of, wow, what I've worked for up to this point is no longer who I am. It can be difficult. It can almost be that feeling of like nostalgia, along with that feeling of kind of excitement and empowerment, and it all kind of mingles together into like one poignant emotion. But the beauty that lies here on the other side is the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands is actually what Spirit is asking you to embrace this month, to really face and overcome this kind of inaction around, or maybe possibly deliberation of, I don't know what to do with this new connection to myself. Do I stay? Do I go? Do I act on it? Do I not? And the Six of Wands is saying this is a card of success. It's a card that harnesses the energy of Leo. It's a very heart-centered energy, and it is one of recognition for taking action from a place of passion. And this is a card of being seen. It's a card of being recognized. It's a card of putting yourself out there as well. When we think of, you can see the lion in the back here, the lion is wearing a crown. There is this element, I mean, even the individual is wearing a crown of laurels, and he has the symbol of Jupiter on his tunic, which is an expansive energy. And there's this feeling coming from this card, Cancer, that is expansive. It is showing that if you lead from your heart, if you lead from the emotion of love, and if you lead with that courageous spirit as well, that the lion brings in there, that what you will get when you combine what you love for yourself, love for those around you, with a courageous spirit, it's almost like that will balloon outward, and it's almost like, what can't you accomplish with your wand? And this grounded, practical sense of, I know how I work in the physical. I know what I need to put in place. Now I just need to do it. Because right on the other side is, if you are brave enough to do that, to be seen, to understand what you want to be recognized for, what you know is going to take courage to do, but you're ready to do it, is that the Eight of Wands comes in, and this is fast-moving energy. This is quick communication. This is like all hands on deck, let's go. And followed by the Empress, which is absolutely beautiful. The Empress is the energy of our own creative abilities, understanding that we truly can give birth to what we want in our life. It is a true creative card. It is one where we get to harness the energy of the number 3, which is, for me, a divine number. It's a number of divinity. It's also the number of greeting life with the innocent optimism of a child. And in addition to that, we have, so as clarification, we have the 5 of Swords and the 4 of Pentacles. So this is your final challenge point, is really accepting your own ability to create for yourself based on this reconnection or this inspiration that leads you back to reconnecting with yourself. Now, the 5 of Swords and the 4 of Pentacles. The 5 of Swords is one where we are trying to win at all costs. It's where we are stuck in that mental place. And this is, again, really tying back to the 2 of Swords here, where when we think about it, when we're thinking about being challenged on a mental space, to really, this month, it will help clarify this for you. That the 5 of Swords is being stuck in that place of almost like battling yourself. Like, I know I can't do it because I know I can't, because it's this, because it's that. And it's where, yes, that can be also put outward towards somebody else in your life, meaning that somebody's like, well, just go and do it. And you're like, but no, I can't. Because if I was to follow this inspiration, if I was to, go buy that rundown car that I've driven by now 4 times, the for sale sign, and take it home and start to work on it again, well, I won't have the space for the car in the driveway. And what if I can't, bring it up to snuff the way that I used to be able to? And what if my neighbors think that, and it starts to get to this point where you start to put all these things in place that, well, I can't open that business centered around my love of photography. I can't sell my house and sit on the proceeds and travel the world for a year. I can't put a down payment on a house. And it's that realization of, with the 4 of Pentacles, where are you holding yourself back physically? Because if you're the King of Pentacles can manifest abundance in his life. You can see he's sitting on a throne completely covered, like almost like overgrown with vegetation and growth. And it's showing his ability to grow. The 4 of Pentacles is one where we are holding ourselves back. That's one where we're like, okay, well, we're safe. We've got just enough, but in order for me to grow, in order for me to continue to expand, in order for me to really realize my own abundant potential, I have to actually invest a little in that. And that might mean I have to destabilize myself. It may feel like that, where I might have to give a little chunk of that savings away. I might have to give a little bit of my time or energy towards it. I might have to make space in my driveway for this new car. Or I might have to, take that money that I have been setting aside to put that down payment on the house. It's time. Basically, this is that card of, it's time to stop fighting yourself mentally and just do it. Knowing full well that you're the Empress. And to come out and start to work your magic. This is such a supportive energy to go with the Ace of Wands, which is that, aha, this is me. This is what I'm capable of. This is when I combine this with this. When I combine the Ace of Wands with the King of Pentacles, what can't I create? Imagine with her, with this, that she can literally, like these two people together, can literally grow anything anywhere that they want. They can grow an entire country with nothing but a vegetated forest, or they could grow a giant mansion in a career that they love. Remember, there's that Jupiter quality coming through the Six of Wands, of that expansive nature. So this is really stepping into that, bringing yourself into that emotional place of, if what you have right now is not emotionally fulfilling, what would feel emotionally fulfilling to be recognized for? And that's going to be the key to kind of unlocking all of this. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull 3 additional cards, Cancer, where we're going to take a look at the concepts of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. We're going to get some additional insight from Spirit here. So the first card out is going to be where Spirit would like you to stay curious and open to for the month of July. I like to call this my miracle card, because often we can block miracles from coming into our life simply because we're not utilizing the energy of curiosity in our life, meaning we are putting up walls to what's around the next bend for us, or we tell ourselves to not hold that conversation with that random stranger because what if they talk your ear off, or you don't take a chance to go do something fun because the last time you did that, it didn't work out well. And so we start to close ourselves off to where miracles can sneak into our lives because we're kind of closing the doors and the windows through a lack of curiosity of what's behind that door. Well, what happens if I open that window? Okay, so what do we have here? We have, oh, such a beautiful card. Okay, so we have door to personal healing and happiness. It's beautiful. So that is what's behind the door for you. Number 34 breaks down to number 7, and that's really working with the confidence we have when we understand our own importance, as well as the confidence to know that we are working with Spirit, that we are co-creating at any given time. And when we have the courage to co-create from that understanding, this is what we get to step through, the doorway into personal healing and happiness. And I think for some of you, perhaps this reconnection to yourself and this courage to make a change and to start to manifest, to kind of work with the flow of energy that's in your favor this month, is really going to lead to this. And so where to be curious, where are you perhaps blocking yourself? Where have you been maybe blocking yourself for some time from really stepping through this door? There's that feeling of and it's strange that's coming through this way, but maybe this is how you guys need to hear it, is that sometimes we don't feel worthy. When you think about it, if you had a magic door just open in front of you and it was literally your version of heaven on the other side, you might hesitate for a moment. And kind of like what I was saying with this 8 of Cups, you might realize that when you step through that doorway, you are giving up kind of the pain and the challenges that maybe you identified with for a long time. That was your crab shell. That was your mask of, I have to suffer in this way, or I have to take on this mighty challenge all alone. And now you're at a point where you get a chance to really step through into ease and comfort and to really work with the fruits of your labor. But yet it's kind of scary. There's that element of, am I good enough for this? Am I worth it? If I step through, is this real? And can I truly close the doors on the person I have been up to this point? So really, as a point of curiosity, let the miracles come in this month is really be curious as to where you feel maybe that you're not worthy for a big gift to come in for yourself, where you're not worthy of what you know you can create, where maybe this can actually be where you don't feel worthy of success. Maybe where you are hiding it or that this idea is great. And if you actually work for it, it might go somewhere, and it might go somewhere fast. And that might be hard to grasp. But that is where Spirit is asking you to really focus, to really get you out of this point of kind of non-action, which is understanding that where you may be afraid to allow yourself to walk through that door, because it's there for you. It's there for you to open, and it's there for you to walk through it. But we have to make that our own decision to do so. Okay, so now we're going to pull a card here for the concept of courage. And this is where Spirit would like you to what to keep in mind as you're garnering the courage to take action this month. So we're stepping into that point of really where we have the point of control in our life, is where we choose to take action, how we choose to take action. Oh, we have surrendered to Spirit. It says, once you've done everything you can to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let Spirit work its magic for you. This is beautiful. Now, when this card comes up, this isn't a card that is saying just sit back and don't do anything. Because when you think about it, even when you're thinking about, let's say, the Empress and someone who's, let's say, truly giving birth to something, it's not that when, let's say, a pregnant woman is going through the 9 to 10 months that she's pregnant, that she's just sitting back and doing nothing. She's making sure that she's eating healthy. She's making sure that she's educating herself on what's going on with the child in gestation. She is making sure that she's creating as secure of an environment as possible for the birth of that child. She's getting things ready, and she's working with others to make sure that, the doctors and the family members who are going to be around and everybody to really help create the infrastructure to bring in the birth of this creation of her child. And so it's kind of what I feel for you is this message, Cancer, is it's almost like keep working, keep doing the small things with an eye to what needs to change, with an eye to what you want to manifest for yourself. But you have to make the time and the investment. When you're thinking about being pregnant, I'm just using this as an example just because it's an easy one to show that even though you don't have to do a lot while you're pregnant to have a healthy child, it's one of those things that you are still doing things, and you do have to invest. There's an element of having to invest in buying the things or getting things ready, even if you're making those things, that where the child's going to sleep, how the child's going to eat, what the child is going to wear. And there's all these things that that there's going to be that investment, but there's also a time investment. You've also made that investment of time that I'm going to commit to this for the full 9 to 10 months. And once the child is born, I know from that point I have to continue to nurture it. So there is this element of that can be the kind of scary point of where we're kind of stuck there saying, wow, it might take that long. It might take a year, it might take 2 years. I might have to, even though the energy is in my favor, it means that I still need to keep doing the little things but let Spirit do the big things, if that makes sense. It's not about losing sight of your goal or your dream. The Queen of Wands, if she's going to want to take action, she's going to take action, knowing full well that however long she has to cast that spell for, she will make happen what she wants. And same with the King of Pentacles. He knows his worth. He knows his value. He knows the value of his time as well. And he will invest. Even if he knows, let's say he will be the one to put down a large chunk of money into maybe more of a risky investment with the understanding that in 20 years this will pay off. But there are other things to do in place while you're waiting for that. He's not going to just put the chunk of money in and say, well, I'm just going to live like a pauper until this 20-year return on my investment. No, he's going to start to lay the foundations for what's going to come in. He's going to start to, make sure he has the right kind of account, make sure he understands the tax ramifications of when this money is to come in. He starts to set in place perhaps the dreams he wants to do with this money. Maybe he wants to buy a dream vacation home, and he starts to lay the infrastructure to be, where is that going to be? And what can I do with that dream vacation home? Is it something I can turn into an investment property? Is it something where I'm going to invite people over and I need to make sure that it's in a location that's easily accessible? It's all these little details that connect him back to that investment that he keeps putting in place one thing at a time, opening room. And that's really also what the Empress really speaks to, is the receptivity that she's taking in and building room, receiving what's coming in from her environment to allow finally for the birth of that creative project, that creative endeavor, that big hope, dream, or wish for yourself. But it's to not get hung up on, well, what if it doesn't happen right now? Or what if I do have to kind of start from scratch and I have to do it all over again, or I have to move into a new home? It's saying, keep your eye on the prize. Keep your eye on this, on the Six of Wands. And understand that whatever it is that you want to start to work on, it's time to bring it out into the light. And it's time to trust that Spirit is going to be working behind the scenes to bring this in for you. But you have to be the one to make the decision to go for it. And to go for it for the long haul. To go for it for as long as it's going to take to bring it into being. And to know that you're going to have to put a little time, energy, or money into investing in that to make it happen. Okay, and now the final card we're going to pull before we move into the extended is going to be a card for contemplation. This is what Spirit would like you to reflect on throughout the month of July to kind of underscore this overarching method. Oh, and of course it would be this card. It says, take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. So this is just that remembrance that life doesn't always have to happen now. And sometimes we can have a 20-year goal. And I know for some of us, it doesn't matter what point you are in your life, a 20-year goal will always sound daunting. But it can be that thing of realizing that, and actually I'll share it from my perspective, because I actually have been sitting with this, that up until this point in my life, I was a very driven person from the time I was young. Then I was very aware of time. And it was one of those things where if I wasn't here at this age or doing this by this age, or if I hadn't accomplished blah, 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 that I held myself to this point of, well, if it's not happening fast enough, it's either I have to push harder or it just wasn't meant to be and I went on to something else. And I never really gave myself the time. I never really built space out for something to have this kind of longer term vision. And now where I am in my life and what I've gone through over the past, I'd say, a big, long 5-year process, but probably more of a 10-year cycle, is that I've realized it's more about understanding the longer range perspective, so that I do have career goals at this point. I have creative goals. I have family goals, but I have started to surrender myself to the understanding of putting the time and energy with a long-term vision for that, realizing that if things don't immediately manifest tomorrow, then it's not that I stop doing what I'm doing. It's that I realize, well, where is this? So if I want to write a book, it's not that, well, I have to write this book within 6 months. And if it's not picked up by a publisher in the 6 months to follow, and I don't make a bunch of money by the end of next year from this book, well, what's the purpose of me even starting it? Instead saying, I really feel the inclination to write. I'm really connecting with that again. I really want to do that. I have a message I want to share and to bring out emotionally with the world. I want to communicate something. But if that takes me 20 years to write that book, and maybe I do get a publisher 5 years from now who's interested in it, but then we have to go through an editing process, and then maybe 5 years after that I realize I want to go back and rewrite it or write a second version of it or add on to it. It's one of those things I have to realize, in 20 years I would like to be known for being a famous author. that writes something that will have impact for future generations. And that's all I need to know. I don't need to give myself a time limit on that. I just need to understand that that is very unique to me. It's a calling that I really connect with. It's part of my own magic, and it's time to start bringing that out and working with it. It's time for me to start telling people that this is what I'm doing, that this is what I'm interested in. It's time for me to start building in that space, dedicating. Maybe I can't walk away from a 9-to-5 job, but I can build time into my day by discussing with my family that I need a dedicated hour or two here and there to start to focus on writing again. And this is where we start to bring the magic back into our life by first pulling the magic from within, finding the magic from within, and that's what ends up creating, eventually manifesting what you want. But it doesn't have to be instantaneous. Now, for some of you, it might be. It truly might be. It might be the simple act of really tapping into this new passion or this part of yourself and making that decision. It might literally change things overnight for some of you. That I can see that. And that's really where you need to get ready to walk through that doorway. But the take a break, it could be the season, the time for you to make your big break. And that a lot of change is going to happen really quickly. And that can seem very daunting, that suddenly you're pushed out from within your own little shell and you're put out into the world and you are stepping into your own personal healing and happiness. But it means that that's where you get a chance to also slow down and rest and enjoy that moment. You know, this is where all of a sudden that idea does take off, that business does start to accelerate. You do move into that new home and suddenly you're thrown into new neighbors and a new expanded networking group of people around you to embrace it and to in the moment enjoy it. Don't try to rush it. Don't try to rush through it. Push through it. Enjoy it as part of your journey. Okay, Cancer. So for those of you, normally I would leave it here, but now I'm going to go into pulling some clarifier cards for the extended, and we'll also pull some additional cards for romantic love to see what you can expect around that energy as well. So let's see if I can shuffle these, what my Cancers need to know. So first we're going to pull some cards for the Ace of Wands. What is this newfound connection to you, your uniqueness, your spirit? Okay, so we have the Seven of Coins, and we have, the Star. Okay, so for some of you, it's the realization. So the Seven of Coins is one where we're taking a look at what is, what we have, what are the fruits of our labor up to this point? What have we created? And it's where we really take a moment to stop and say, is it worth it for me to continue working on this? Is it worth it for me to continue putting effort into this? And with the Star coming up, this is Spirit reminding you, the Star is your great guiding passion. And it's saying, it basically, it's funny too, because in the Star here, this image shows a woman almost like swinging around a pole, but it looks very similar. It's mirroring the energy of the wand there. And so there is this element of really understanding that, to clarify this moment of indecision. Do I keep investing? Do I take from what I have and invest it in what I've been working towards up to this point? Spirit's saying, remember your dream. Remember what you feel within that you would love to connect with. This is that great hope, wish, dream, what we truly want to experience in this lifetime. And it's saying, remember that. Remember that as you're sitting here going, I don't know, should I, shouldn't I? Because it really does kind of go back to this Two of Swords. And that's the same with this. It's looking at what you've actually have currently and to say, should I keep investing or should I walk away? Should I keep investing or should I walk away? And it's saying, remember your Star. And to remember your Star, you need to bring your own passion back to this. Sorry, guys, I had to step away for just a moment. Okay, so, oops, as I knock into everything. All right, so let's take a look at the Eight of Cups. This realization of knowing that you have to walk away from something that's no longer emotionally fulfilling. So we have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Coins, and the Eight of Wands again. So another confirmation. Wow. Cancer, the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Coins. Aces are gifts from the divine. this is a reconnection to love for yourself, love for the divine. And the Ace of Coins is that fresh start. It's a gift of something tangible, something new, and possibly truly a gift of something that might actually lend to you realizing that, wow, you have an extra little gift. This could be where you actually get an inheritance. And suddenly you've been sitting here in this kind of place of indecision and not wanting to put money down or invest. And suddenly you get this gift of something little, or this could even be a good piece of advice to follow up on, or the gift of a new location or a new job. It's something that's the start of something, but that's going to lend to your ability to, again, make use of this Eight of Wands, this fast moving energy. This could even be quick communication. So you might have quick communication come in that really brings in this Ace of Cups and this Ace of Coins, that this fresh connection to your cup, your love, what you uniquely bring to each situation. But this is also showing me that the Eight of Cups here, that maybe for some of you, and this is very interesting, some of you, you might have actually, this is probably not for all of you, but for some of you, there might actually be you could have met somebody and that this is what's actually the underlying everything here, that there's this element of some type of communication or movement coming in because suddenly you are offered that new job, or you did meet that person, that new love, and all of the sudden it's propelling you forward. It's showing you what you, I think, have long since not been engaged with, what you have long since not been emotionally connected to, and suddenly you have this new start. But it's almost like when you look at this, it looks like a railroad track, right? And it's like but you have to get on the train. You have to get on the train with this new opportunity, with this new connection to love, or this new opportunity that's coming in for you here. It's time to go. Okay, now let's take a look at the Six. Ooh, the Six of Wands. We have the Tower. Letting something go that no longer serves. This is exactly what I was saying, when it's time to let go of that mask that no longer serves, the shell that you once hid behind, but which has now become a place of entrapment. And the Nine of Cups. Oh, love it. So this is making your heart's desire. The Nine of Cups comes directly after the Eight of Cups. It's what we realize where we're not fulfilled with what we have. And then if we're not fulfilled with what we have, well, then what is it that our heart yearns for? And this is saying, make that wish, make that, literally put that out into the universe. This is what I want. This is that cup that's coming in to make you realize this is what I want. And it's time to let go of what once served as a point of security and let it go so that you can, I love this image on this card specifically with it's almost, it looks like a structure that was top heavy. So it's releasing everything that was kind of out of balance, leaving you with the fresh, whole version of that foundation, which now can be built upon in a more truly King of Pentacles way. Realizing you're still left at the foundation. When the Tower crumbles, it's not. And actually, what's interesting in the tarot is that after the Tower comes the Star card. The Tower comes in to fall. Spirit comes in and liberates us from that tower so that then we can look up into the night sky to reconnect with our star, with our guiding light. And so there's something here around really leaning into this. Let the tower, let the part of the tower go that you no longer need, whether that's letting go of a place you've been living in for 25 years, whether that's realizing that it's time to maybe start a new relationship with somebody and releasing all the structures you put in that maybe you had been living in as a single person or living in as, with another person who's no longer in your life. But it's making sure that you really tap into that emotional wish for yourself, that heart-centered wish, because again, there's this heart connection here between the heart-centered Leo energy and really tapping into a heart's wish and throwing that out to the universe, saying, this is what I want. And that's what I'm realizing here with this new opportunity coming in. This is what I want, and I'm going to have to let the rest go. All right, so now let's see what's going on with this Eight of Wands. Movement. move. Oh, gosh, so much. Oh, and there's the Ace of Wands again. Okay, love that. Ace of Wands and the Emperor and Page of Coins. Interesting. So again, reconnecting with this inspiration. Now, for some of you, this could be that you are actually connecting with an Emperor type energy in your life. This could be an Aries, but this also Aries or Taurus technically. This can also be where this could be truly a kind of boss figure, somebody that you look up to who's maybe accomplished quite a bit, and therein lies the inspiration, the reconnection, because maybe they are communicating, they're coming in and saying, hey, I have an opportunity for you. For some of you, this can also be where you are realizing you're stepping into the Emperor status in your own life, meaning you are getting to that place of realizing, wait a second, I don't have to be boxed in by this anymore. I can look at what I have in a new way. I get to be the one that stretches my wings, that can throw the box away if I want. And the reconnection to the passion, to my own magic, that brings you into a place. So you have almost all the pages here. You have the Page of Wands, the Page of Cups, now you have the Page of Coins. The Page of Coins is that energy of bringing a sense of beginner's mindset again, that childlike optimism in moving towards something new and capitalizing on this new opportunity. This is where we go out there to gather more information. This, for some of you, this could actually be going back to school or gaining a secondary education or taking a class somehow that's going to help bring more context and clarity. This can also be where you're putting things in place. You're getting all the details in place. You're starting to build that, making room for what's to come. But there is something here about going out with a beginner's mindset of going out and saying, okay, I'm going to take this opportunity and I'm going to run with it. But what's behind that is the understanding of my own magic, my own inspiration, what I uniquely bring to this. And this could look like, simply as my example about maybe writing, something along the lines of you're feeling the call to write. But now you realize you don't have to be boxed in by maybe what you had originally thought you had to write or how you had to write. Meaning maybe now you're realizing, I just need to write. That's my inspiration. I'm a good writer and I need to look at this from a new perspective. And I'm going to go, in order for me to do that, I'm going to go out there, maybe join a writer's group, or I'm going to go out there and just start blogging, or I'm going to journal every day and I'm going to just see what comes from that. But it's being able to look at something from a new perspective or from the stance of a place of personal empowerment. Now, again, the other side to this is that this could be actual communication from somebody who is in a position of authority, who's really coming in to help you with this. It would almost be like somebody coming in and saying, hey, I have this job opportunity, and if you're willing to, I know it might be a little outside the box, or it might connect. This could be also like where somebody comes in and maybe you're realizing that your own passion is something centered around sales, and you have a great salesmanship quality to yourself, and somebody comes in and says, I've been watching you. I've really seen what you've done in your other places of work, and I've noticed that that's really what you're great at. You can sell ice to Eskimos, so to speak, and would you be willing to come on board? And I know you've never sold our product before, but I really think you'd be a great fit. And what do you think about that? We offer a small training program and you can come in and try it. And this might, in this coming through, might actually connect to that heart's dream. So you have to first connect to what you want to then go out and be able to capitalize on letting go of something to allow something to come in. So this can be where maybe you are sitting here saying, I'm letting go of an old relationship that I've been kind of like hiding myself from. And suddenly in comes somebody to say, well, see, hey, I know somebody who's looking for a relationship. And all of a sudden it like lights your flame again and reconnects you to your cup. And suddenly it's time to go back out there and start dating again. See what happens. But the key to this whole thing is, what is that heart's wish? What is that great desire you've been holding yourself back from really wanting for yourself, Cancer, and allowing yourself to feel that? Because that's what's going to usher in, when you get clear on that and you surrender to, sorry, looks like I'm flipping you guys off, and you surrender to what needs to change, to what you need to release, that's when all of a sudden that's the gateway to all of the energy coming in. That's like, oh, here it comes. Get ready. Okay, and now for the final, oops, where's my deck? Here we go. I'm going to see what's going on with the Empress. What do you need to know about the Empress here? I'm really stepping up into that energy of creating, giving birth to the life you want, giving birth to that thing that you want that's part of your heart's desire. Hanged Man and Queen of Cups. Interesting. So this is through a sacrifice, seeing something in a new way and stepping up into your energy. The Queen of Cups is your energy, Cancer. This is that nurturing, loving, mothering energy where you get to appreciate what's in your cup and you get to share that with others. So there is something here around seeing something in a new perspective that comes from having to give up something. That's really what the Hanged Man says. It's a forced pause. It's a pause where generally we have to sacrifice something to gain knowledge and the perspective of something, a new perspective that Spirit is asking us to see. So this could be where we might have to, maybe something wasn't working for us to a certain extent, and so we had to take this divine pause, but maybe we had to sacrifice walking away from it for a while. And we realize now, well, now I see why I had to walk away from that manuscript, because now when I look at it in a different light, it isn't what I really want to write anymore. And suddenly I'm realizing, well, what's in my cup is I want to write from this perspective, from self-love, from love for others. Or you suddenly realize what you want to nurture in yourself. And you realize, wait a second, that dream of mine to own my own business, that's what I needed. And now I realized that's why working my way up in the corporate level for this larger company, it wasn't happening. And I had to sacrifice the money that I would have had if I would have been promoted. But now I realize the sacrifice was there because it had to push me to realize, no, I need to work for myself. And that's being a mother to myself. That's nurturing that child. That is being able to be the nurturer to the child you want to give birth to the life you want to give birth to the experience you want to give birth to. Okay, now I'm going to pull some additional clarifier cards for the 3 cards of advice from Spirit. We'll see what else wants to come out, and then we'll jump right in to love. Okay, so what does Cancer need to know about being curious about that door to personal healing and happiness? What do they need to know? Oh wow, that's way too many cards. Sorry, guys. They all fell on the floor. Let me go ahead and redo that. This is a big deck, and I shuffle it kind of clumsily, unfortunately. Let's see. Oh, beautiful. Okay, Butterfly Spirit, transformation is beautiful. Number 11. Number 11 is the master number that is the doorway between us and the divine, between what is and what can be for ourselves when we co-create with Spirit. And this is a perfect card to come up with this, because when you think about the butterfly, there is a point when the butterfly was a caterpillar, and the caterpillar had to, and it's interesting, it ties into this image of the Hanged Man. The caterpillar had to sacrifice itself with full trust and faith in the divine, that what it felt called to do, what it felt called to follow, what it felt it was its big dream, even though it didn't quite understand what it would become, it in full faith spun itself into a cocoon and hung itself upside down. And now it's almost like at this point, it's time for you to emerge as the butterfly. And I think for many of you, you have emerged as the butterfly. You just don't quite understand the beauty of your wings. You don't quite understand that now you are no longer a creature that crawls on the ground. You're now a creature that can fly as far and expansive as you want to. But that does mean that you might have to leave maybe the people you knew who only crawl on the ground behind. Or it means that you're going to see different scenery and you're going to be called to eat different things and experience different things. And that can be scary. That can be poignant. There can be that moment like right here where we sit and say, but now that I'm the butterfly, I kind of miss being the caterpillar. And there's a sadness to that. And, this can be at any point in our life where we move into starting a family, but we miss the college person, the carefree person we were up to a certain point. Or where we are now moving into retirement and we miss that family commitment that we had and the building and working towards watching your children grow. And now it's a different period in your life. But this period is meant to really honor all that you've worked for, the sacrifices you've made, the faith you've had to this point, to allow yourself to kind of hang upside down, suspended with maybe no movement. And now it's time to realize all you have to do is realize your own transformation, to accept it as a gift and to own it, that you are this beautiful being now. And it's time for you to fly through those doors into a new land that is going to be made for this new version of yourself. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I will pull an additional card here for Surrender to Spirit. Let's see what Cancer needs to know about surrendering to Spirit. What does Cancer need to know about surrendering to Spirit? What does Cancer need to know about surrendering? Ooh, okay, that was all kinds of messy. And that's way too many cards again. Let's see if we can get just one or two, please. All right, if it doesn't come out in the next 2 rounds, I will pull one. Okay, let's see here. All right. Oh, interesting. All right, so we have Dragonfly Spirit. Truth transcends illusion. Also, so it's master number 22. If you notice the progression, master number 11 to master number 22, both winged insects that have the ability to fly. The dragonfly has the ability to maneuver very quickly. And so there's something here around when we think about truth transcends illusion. Sometimes we are under the illusion, we get stuck in the illusion that nothing is happening. We get stuck in the illusion that we're not seeing the tangible results of the effort we're putting into something yet. Now, the number 22 is the number that is the master builder. And this is the number harnessing the energy of being able to build something that will last quite a while. This could be the structure, the foundation to a business that will grow. This can be laying the beautiful foundation for the family to come. This could be laying the foundation for a level of financial freedom that you will have in 15 to 20 years. There's an element here of understanding that the truth of what you're doing, that there's more power in the truth of what you're doing than in the illusion of what is not manifesting. So keep that in mind when we are surrendering to Spirit, is that the surrender to Spirit is the realization that as long as we feel connected to us, and that what we're taking action in the moment, that control that we have in our own life, where we're choosing to take action, how we're choosing to take action, that is what we're building. That's what we're laying the foundations for. That is our moment. That is where we get a chance to channel the King of Pentacles into our life, is through what we choose to do and how we choose to build. And so keep that in mind, that maybe you feel that, the truth of what I'm doing is I'm not seeing. The truth is I don't see a result. And that's where the faith has to come in. That once you've done everything, turn that situation over to the divine. But doing everything means you have to keep doing it. Meaning you have to be clear on your dream, be clear of that heart's desire, and keep at it. This is that slow and steady, kind of indefatigable, but to understand that whatever you're doing is linking now to this new version of yourself. And that's where the faith comes in, that this call to walking away from something, this call to honoring your heart's wish, these new opportunities coming in as fast-moving energy is all to allow yourself to get acclimated to the new you. And that even though you may not see things happening right away, have faith that Spirit is working behind the scenes to allow for the new environment for this butterfly, for the new you to come into being. But you have to really understand the truth of what you're doing. And that's really where the indecision is coming from here. It's that indecision, the false indecision, or the false idea that we can't see the truth, that this could be the truth or this could be the truth. And in reality, this is a card of tapping into your intuition to be able to see and understand the truth. And how do you see that? How do you connect to that? It's connecting to you, connecting to what feeds your heart, feeds your dream, feeds your soul, feeds your star. Okay. Now I'm going to jump into actually, because I think the take a break card kind of is self-explanatory. So I'm going to jump into the energy of love, and we're going to see kind of what some of you guys can expect around the energy of love for the month of July. So what can Cancer expect for the month of July? Engagement. Okay, so we have your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So for some of you, there literally could be an engagement involved, but I think for the majority of us, because that is a very specific thing to have happen, I think it's more that when you say your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment, that those of you who are in a relationship or those of you who are looking to start a relationship, that there's this entry point here of you have the ability to kind of level up, whether you guys are kind of investing in each other. You know, maybe you're sharing this deep dream you have with your significant other, and they are helping you to achieve that, to start to build the infrastructure for that. It could be that for some of you, you are just starting to date someone and you make that commitment to commit to just dating this single person. It could also be that you are committing to bringing in that partner for yourself who you will be committed to. So it can kind of work all ways. I'm going to go ahead and pull some clarifiers. We're going to see what's going to come out around this. So your love life is ascending. Oh, okay. So the Empress. I love that. So for some of you, actually, if it's not about truly an engagement, for some of you, this could actually be that you're finding out that you're pregnant. That this could be the wand here. So just FYI. Or that you are... for the energy of love, that you might be finding out that maybe you're planning on something around the inception of a child, or the conception of a child, or maybe you have a child that you've just given birth to, or a child that is maybe older as well, but there's something around that maybe perhaps you guys are, maybe the new inspiration is around a child. And that's what's bringing in this new level of commitment in love. Okay, the Two of Swords. Oh, interesting. So there's the Two of Swords coming up through this energy of love. So there's a little bit of an indecision of do I or don't I? And the Empresses can also be where you are committing to growing something together, committing to creating something together. There's the Page of Pentacles again. Okay, coming through. Lots of repeat cards here. So these are all three of these are repeat cards. So there's something here around commitment and going for it. For some of you, what I'm seeing is that there's an element of being afraid, a point of indecision as to if you do want to commit to something with this person, if you want to take it to a higher level. And with the Page of Pentacles, there's that element of kind of having to get some of the details in place. Like there's almost that level of, okay, if we are going to move in together, what does our financial situation look like? Where are we going to live? Are we moving into your place or my place? Am I, what do I actually, when I'm thinking about committing to a higher level of engagement with somebody that I love, what does that look like? And creating that for yourself. Let's see, anything else that wants to come out here? And okay, the Knight of Swords. Okay, well, there we go. That's the point of action. The Knight of Swords is also quick communication. It can be blunt communication where you share the truth. And I think for some of you, this is where you can kind of get out of this point of indecision where you've been sitting here kind of like, I want to go to the next level. I want to create this. I want to give birth to something in my life. I'm ready to kind of get the things in place. I'm working towards this. And this is where you finally make the decision. You get out of your head, out of the Two of Swords, and you say, okay, this is what I'm going for. And this can be where you might take somebody by surprise, where you're like, this is what I'm doing. I'm starting my own business, or this is what I'm doing. I love you, marry me. It's something where you finally get that push to state what you want with this other person, or what you don't want, or what you're wanting for yourself. I'd say the only thing with the Knight of Swords is just to be a little mindful of your communication, because it can be very blunt. It can be, where it might take somebody by surprise. You might have been deliberating on this for quite some time, but the communication might come out as a surprise to somebody else. So just keep that in mind, but it shows that the energy is in your favor and that it is time for you to share something. It's time for you to take action on something. It's time for you to break kind of the mental stagnation and to move forward in a mental space. So to make that decision to do it, commit to whatever you want here. But if it's specifically to love, this could be committing to a partnership, be committing to a change within the partnership, or simply committing to saying, this is where I want to go now. Maybe you are in a place of retirement and you're saying, okay, we're retired, but this is now what I want to bring in for myself at this point of retirement. At this point of retirement. Maybe it's saying, let's take our love life to a higher level of commitment by saying, okay, we've been kind of stuck in the same house for 35 years. And you know what? Let's commit to being closer to our grandchildren. Or let's commit to finally buying that beach house we've always talked about. Or for those of you who are not in a relationship and are looking to be in one, this is where you say, I'm going to commit to creating the infrastructure to bring in my perfect partner. I'm going to commit to building it, even if I have to do it alone, with the full support and awareness that even if it doesn't seem like the people I'm going on dates with now are manifesting into the people I want, I have faith that Spirit is working on the right one to come in. And I'm going to go out there and start making it happen. Okay, I'm going to pull one final card for the energy of love, and then we will jump in for a final message here. All right, what does Cancer need to know as one final point for the energy of love? Get to know each other. It says, learn to meet another's need for love. We have number 44. Technically not a master number, but it is an angelic number. So a lot of repeat numbers here, which is that means the energy is very strong. Number 44 breaks down. It always speaks to me of angelic help, of angelic timing, divine timing, but also it breaks down to the number 8, which is a number of personal empowerment. And I like that it says get to know each other, learn to meet another's need for love. Now, for those of you who are single, how do you meet another's need for love if you're not in a relationship? Well, you first must meet your own need for love. So what do you need to nurture in your life that to be able to love yourself enough and be fulfilled enough in who you are to then go out and be able to meet cup to cup with another? This is really being able to understand that you have a full cup before engaging with someone else so that you can engage those cups together. It's not that one person needs to pull from another or vice versa. For those of you in a relationship, this is definitely where you get a chance to really, no matter how long you've been in a relationship, whether you've been in a relationship for a year or whether you've been in a relationship for 35 years, people change, we grow, we go through different things on a day-to-day basis that change our perspective, change what we wish for, change what we need. And there's never, I think, a wrong time to get to know someone again, even if it's from one day to the next. And so we get a chance to kind of refresh ourselves and our relationships to others by, in that moment, kind of greeting that individual as a new person and really getting to the point of saying, well, what do you need? What is the next move for us? And what can I do to help you feel that as much as I need to feel it as well? It's beautiful. Okay, so now for the final point here, I'm going to pull a final card for basically the overarching energy. This is the main spiritual lesson you're learning this month for yourself. And I'll read the full excerpt from the book that comes with this deck as... Okay, interesting. So we have as what to leave you with here. So we have Sixth Ray of Devotion, number 43, also breaking down to a 7. Again, that confidence we have when we work with spirit. Okay, so it's the Sixth Ray of Devotion. The Sixth Ray of Devotion bestows the qualities of persistence, unwavering focus, and intensity of feeling. It is a gift of the strength to move mountains with your will for what you love. When the Sixth Ray of Devotion appears, you are being given guidance that even if you do not seem to have much worldly power right now, the power of your beliefs can conquer obstacles. The Archangel Uriel helps you receive the blessing of the Sixth Ray now. You are receiving a blessing of the Sixth Ray of Devotion. It is serving your soul growth and will help you develop faith in your principles and trust in the power of your beliefs. You will be able to recognize and appreciate the extraordinary strength within you and realize that you have enough willpower to keep working towards your dream, overcoming any obstacle until you are divinely successful. The Sixth Ray reminds you of the power of love, which can conquer anything and everything. Love is an empowering, motivating force far stronger than fear. Love is the foundation of authentic spiritual devotion. Devotion to the divine empowers us to bear burdens, overcome obstacles, and manifest all manner of beautiful visions in a world that may at first assure us that our dream is not possible. The Sixth Ray blesses you with spiritual stubbornness and sacred rebellion against any odds. The challenge with the Sixth Ray is to not become so anchored in your beliefs that you become fanatical, judging others because their beliefs are different. You can be unwavering in your adherence to your belief system and yet honor the fact that there are as many paths to divine union as there are people, that the ways the universe calls you home to love are unlimited. If you do not honor this, you may try to pull people from their own path, which can create unnecessary struggle for them and unnecessary karma for you. The best way to honor the blessing and minimize the challenge of this ray is to share your truth with an open heart and an open mind. Share without agenda. For those working with this energy, the power of mind and emotion will come into focus. You may need to channel your emotional and mental power into worthy projects or practice balancing your intensity with lightness of heart and playfulness so you don't become harsh or despairing if things appear not to be working out the way you believe they should. And there comes that faith again. Then your faith can remind you love always finds a way. When Archangel Uriel connects with you, a tremendous power, the power of earth, which is interesting, that's really what is coming through here with the King of Pentacles, that power of earth, is brought to your aid. Uriel brings healing energy and an ability to cause real effect in the physical world with your mental and emotional power. Remember, you are here to shine your light. Others can choose to use your light to see by until they are ready to discover their own inner light or not. It is not anything you need to worry about. Simply live your truth, trust in the heartfelt beliefs, and devote yourself to love. Finally, as the Sixth Ray has a special connection to religion and love, you are asked to hold the healing power of love in your heart for all those who are evolving through a life experience involving religious practice. This can help counterbalance the judgment and fear that exists in the hearts of many towards religions that are not their own, or that have been the vehicle through which abuse has taken place. Religion on this planet at this time needs love, support, and encouragement to evolve, heal, and grow in whatever way ultimately serves divine love. That's an interesting little message at the end for some of you there. That maybe there is this element of holding yourself accountable to a religious practice or the doctrine of a religion that maybe no longer suits you, or you want to follow something and do something that is maybe outside of what you feel is the accepted norm, that has something to do around religion. And this is saying you can still have love for those people, even if those people who practice that religion don't see eye to eye with what you want to do. Or the reverse, that maybe if some of you actually want to follow a new religion, you feel the call to do that. Well, if so, don't look at yourself harshly because of it. Instead, look into that. We all need to work. I did a video on, actually not a video, I'm sorry, I wrote a blog that's on my website about really understanding the importance of focusing on your spiritual health. And that many of us, when we think of spiritual health, immediately go to simply just meditation or some form of religion. And for some of us, yes, that's what we need. We're all unique in that regard. Some people need religion. Some people need to go running every morning for 2 hours. Some people need to blog every day. There's all kinds of ways that we can emotionally connect and also spiritually connect to that part of ourself that needs to just kind of be open, that needs to be opened up to what is beyond us. And that's where we gather that faith, in understanding that there's always going to be things going on that we don't understand. And whatever that is for you, whatever makes you feel that you can be devoted to life, that gives you that faith, whatever you can find joy in, that lights, that kind of fuels your flame, so to speak, that's really where I think some of you really need to just focus your attention and realize it's time for you to focus on you. It's time for you to nurture yourself. It's time for you to love yourself. Love yourself. Love yourself first so that you can love others. Sometimes it can be as simple as that. But I'm going to leave you with that. I love the line in that that says you are being gifted right now with stubbornness and sacred rebellion. So really, really keep at it. Whatever you're working at, Cancer, whatever you want, whatever that changes, keep at it. Keep going and really tie back to your heart. What is that heart's wish you want for yourself? And you'll eventually see that butterfly reflected to you in the mirror. All right, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful birthday month, and I look forward to seeing you all again in August. If you'd like to book a personal reading, you can click on the link to visit my website. Otherwise, I will see you all in August. Bye, Cancer.